Everybody, and welcome to a glorious day at one of the most stunning locations imaginable, Monterey, California. It is part of the Pirelli World Challenge season finale, and of course also have an 8-hour endurance race for the GT machines from the Intercontinental GT Challenge. But today it's all about touring car racing, and we are about ready to go with the season finale, first of the doubleheaders for the Touring Car A and Touring Car B categories. It's all part of the Pirelli World Challenge Grand Prix of Monterey. Great to have you here. As I said, this is just an incredible setting, just a little bit east of Monterey on the Laguna Hills, carved out of Fort Ord in 1957, 60th anniversary of this track's first debut race in 1957. And we are getting ready to go again for our Touring Car A and B, the 11th of the 12 rounds. And interestingly, this is a doubleheader day because we will have both of the races. We're having separate races for Touring Car A and Touring Car B, and then a standalone race for Touring Car. So 4 Touring Car races unfolding today, Touring Car A and B together, and the second of the races will come in the afternoon. So it is a busy, busy day for the Pirelli World Challenge Touring Cars. And I think we're in for some absolutely fabulous racing. This track is extremely challenging on so many different levels, and some great camera angles. That's the exit of the legendary corkscrew. When you tip over the top, you drop 11 stories in a huge hurry and work your way down into some of the trickiest. That's the exit of the Andretti hairpin, another absolutely iconic turn. And the nature of the track, you see off to the edges, there's that sand that's right at the track edge, and the curbs are very flat because they do a lot of motorcycle racing here, and you don't want curbs that are going to launch riders. So a lot of drivers, you drop the tires, it pulls that sand right up onto the track. And so this track is unpredictable. It starts relatively low grip to begin with, and then that sand gets up on the track, and it gets very, very slippery. And the irony there is that it also is then hard on tires, because anytime a tire is just flat sliding, obviously you're heating up the surface of the tire. Then you bring those little grains of sand onto the track, and it's like little bits of sandpaper. And this is a track where even in a 40-minute race, like we're going to see for the touring car classes today, you've got to manage those remarkable Pirelli P0s as best you can. Yeah, look at that, the corkscrew, such an iconic spot here. Elevation change at this facility, absolutely huge from the lowest point, which is down in the turn 11 area, and then it dips a little bit down into turn 2 again, the Andretti hairpin, all the way up to here, the corkscrew. And then you can see, and you know, television does not give you a real adequate feel for how immediate and steep that drop is. And so for this to be the venue chosen to conclude a season, I think it's a great idea, because you're supposed to have challenges that you overcome on the way to championships, and this track is a stunning one on a lot of different levels. Location, the challenge itself, the flow of the track, it's just a remarkable place. And again, Touring Car A and Touring Car B competitors are queuing up and getting ready to go. We have 3 cars coming into this weekend that have a shot at the championship in Touring Car A. The way the point structure in Pirelli World Challenge works, it's 25 to win and a bonus point for pole. So with 2 races to go, you've got 52 points that are still winnable, and 3 drivers are within a shout of that. And ironically, none of them qualified on pole, and that extra pole point can sometimes knock somebody out. Not happening today. The leader, the number 74 of Matt Fosnot, you see him on your screen, second row closest to us in that orange and black number 74 from SAC Racing. He has a 12-point lead over his teammate and team manager in the car just to his left, and that number 70, the black and green SAC and SCDA machine of Eleven Goulart, the defending class champion. And then Tom O'Gorman is in the number 94, so he's back just a little bit. He didn't get pulled. Good qualifying run for him, certainly, but not where he wanted to be. Wanted to get that point because he's 26 points behind Goulart and 38 behind Fosnot, so he needs some serious, serious help. And to be able to take a run at the championship. Now, also running behind the Touring Car A field are the Touring Car B machines. And talk about a close championship with 2 rounds to go, 52 points available, 3 drivers, well, 4 technically, are in with a shot, although Jasper Drengler didn't get pole, and he's not going to win on a tiebreaker, so he really is out of it. He's 52 points behind the leader, but the top 3 are covered by 2 points at the end of the season. Just remarkable. And here's the interesting thing. Kanan O'Connell in the number 24 Tech Sport Chevy Sonic put it on pole, and in so doing, with that point for pole, he tied his teammate right behind him there as you look in the number 25 red, white, and black Tech Sport Chevy Sonic. Those 2 teammates are tied dead even, and they're both 2 points behind the number 6 of Jake Peipel, who qualified on the outside of the front row, but is not in position right now. This is a huge development because Jake had a very good qualifying run. And I was also looking, I didn't see Tom Gorman up front either in his 5th spot. I wonder if they had to change tires. We'll have to take a look at that. There's the number 6 at Jake Peipel. And this truly, folks, is a big, big story that he is sitting back where he is at this stage, again, fighting for that championship. So something not going as they would have hoped here. And now they've got some work to do. Jake does. He's shown the ability to work his way up. That's not in question at all. But he's got some tough competitors. And, here's kind of a bittersweet thing to mention is that this is the swan song of Touring Car B and Pirelli World Challenge. It will not be a class moving forward in starting 2018. And it's sad to see it go. It's produced some absolutely intense, fun, in-your-face racing. It's been a great stepping stone, but with the new TCR cars becoming eligible and Touring Car and Touring Car A, something had to give. And so they're going to go out. So for Jake, it would be obviously really nice if he could go out and win this and get the championship for everybody. Same for Kanan, same for PJ. But it's a tough break here for Jake, who had a good qualifying run, and is Jake Peipel racing Mazda 2, sponsored by Carbotech Brakes, to drop back. There you see, right to the left of your screen, the number 94, and that is Tom O'Gorman. He qualified 5th, so he too now finds himself starting in the back. And obviously that's going to be a difficult job for him, as he too is in with a shot at the championship here. So not exactly sure why they got moved back. Haven't seen yet anything. Looking at the provisional qualifying and the grid, there are no notes that I see showing why they may have moved to the back. Generally why that is you change a tire. And if you do have to change tires, then you have to start at the back. So it's going to present some interesting challenges here as the field heading out on the pace and installation lap. And we are going to go racing here. Rolling start coming up here. First race of the doubleheaders always. Beautiful Honda Civic. That is our pace and safety vehicle. And there is our medical vehicle, the beautiful Cadillac Escalade. So they have a great view. We hope they get to just stay there and enjoy the race that's unfolding, or will be. Again, 40-minute timed event. And then these guys and gals are going to be coming back out this afternoon for the final round of the 2017 season here at the Pirelli World Challenge Grand Prix of Sonoma. Oh, let me correct that. Grand Prix of Monterey. A lot of concern about Sonoma. That's probably why that slipped in here, obviously. Car that qualified second, the orange number 33, Murillo Racing, Mazda Global MX-5 Cup car, just coming into your view right there. They're from that area. They have been devastatingly affected by the fire. Really have lost an awful lot in the fires. So many have. And young Kenny Murillo, he said, the shop's okay, and so we were able to come racing, and we decided we wanted to come out and race hard, put on a show, and just try and lighten some hearts here for people in our family as well as friends that have suffered as well. He said, we're racing for everybody right now that's affected by these fires, and he said, we're also racing in tribute to Cal Fire and all the remarkable firefighters that are up north, not just from Cal Fire, volunteers coming in from across the globe to help fight these just devastating fires. And so Kenny said, please, just let everybody know we're racing in tribute to them. And it is so well deserved. But on the pole, the number 23 of Eric Powell in the Scion. And he had a lap that was very, very quick. It looked like it was going to be, almost 0.4 of a second clear of the field. And then Kenny Murillo uncorked a flyer late in the session and made things pretty snug. And we are about ready to go. Coming through the final turn. Very tricky and important turn 11, leading onto this long straight. Honda Civic is in. We're in our acceleration zone, and we're by here. And look at the move. That's Shea Holbrook. Shea Holbrook had qualified back in 7th, but man, did she time that and got to the front. Look at the head of steam she was able to build up. And she had said, I need something special to happen on these starts. She said, we're not as nimble as those Mazdas, and this track is very much a flow track. She said, I've got to get to the front. And they've got a little bit more straight line, as you can see from Shea and that Honda. And she said, I've got to get to the front and then be able to hang on here. And you look behind them, and already Powell gets to the inside. That car's got good straight line as well, and it also handles well. And look at that move. The 74 of Fasnacht following Powell, trying to freight train Shea and make the move. Shea now up on the outside. And look at this. Esteban Goulart deciding, well, I'm going to look with Shea. And the guy who got absolutely caught out on that is Murillo, who sweeps the outside in 5. That is a tremendous move. We also have had a big spin in the touring car B ranks. I think that may have been exiting turn 3 for the touring cars. But as you can see, Shea got that tremendous launch, but then the agility of some of those other cars, and that Scion has just shown tremendous speed. It's had some reliability issues in recent races. Oh, and look at this. O'Gorman side by side with Murillo. In the orange and black Murillo Racing Machine right there. And finally, Kenny able to slot back in front. But this is going to be a fascinating race to watch unfold. And keep in mind, O'Gorman, one of the drivers, that is in with a shot at this championship. Shea running way wide at the exit of turn number 10, trying to carry speed because she knew Goulart was going to do exactly what he just did, try and go to the outside. Now, he's gone around her, but Jeff, we've seen that Honda's got some good straight line speed. The problem for her is that she might be trapped by Murillo, and that might balk. And she might, that's happened. She couldn't do anything with it.
Not able to use that power to get around there. And I was down on Pregard here before the race and talked to her about just that there. She's worried with traffic here, not being able to open the legs of that Honda Civic Si. But you climb that hill out of turn 6 up to the corkscrew, and that's where that Civic will shine.
Absolutely. And problem is, in all these other twisty bits, these Mazdas, they just carry so much mid-quarter speed, it's tough to match it. And the Scion seems to have that great mix, straight line and great handling.
It's a great platform, like you mentioned before, Greg, just the reliability problems that they're working on. I know Kevin Anderson, they had to drive 3.5 hours up to northern Sacramento yesterday just to get a clutch master cylinder with problems for his car. So that's a 7-hour round tripper just to get parts for these cars. When they have some development in the off season, it should be a good year for them to be able to adjust all that and get that car really reliable for the following season.
Yeah, I think so. And he said, we were revving those things to 8,000. We were allowed to do that. And he said, when you're allowed to, you do. And he said, we've realized that probably 7,500, that's the window for us. He goes, so we've trimmed it back. And he said, we think that's really going to help with the reliability. But, keep in mind here now, you've got your leader in the points running second, the guy chasing him, his teammate running third, and then O'Gorman, who's third in the points, sitting in sixth. So we're going to keep tracking those point scenarios here. And you can see Shea let the 94 of O'Gorman go around. Shea understands that that's championship stuff. Back in touring cars, Jake Peipel, for some reason, started at the back of the touring car group, but has wasted no time getting right to the front in that Peipel Racing machine. You know why he started at the back? Was it a tire change? I mean, that's what we would speculate. Also, Tom O'Gorman, who qualified 5th, started at the back of the TCA group. And generally when that happens, that's a tire change of some sort that moves them to the back. But look at this. Our top 3 in points, covered by only 2, are covered by the proverbial blanket. And Peipel able to sneak into just the slightest of leads here in his Carbotech Mazda 2. Kanan O'Connell sits second. And it's interesting, should something happen where Peipel is out of the mix, obviously, and if Kanan wins one, if they end up getting identical points, Kanan would win with a tiebreaker because he does have more wins this year than got that car hopping there.
Yeah, limited suspension adjustments on these cars and spring rates. You can see what that did to him. And I think PJ is going to play the teammate game here for a little while. They need to team up, nose to tail like they're doing now, and kind of push his teammate, so to speak. Well, I say that, here goes PJ Gronke down to the inside of his teammate, Kanan O'Connell.
Well, it's interesting. I was with you on that, because one thing we've seen over the course of the season on the way to Kanan getting those wins, oftentimes he's been behind PJ for the majority of the race, and then the last couple of laps finds that way through. And I wonder if I thought, PJ might go, well, I'm going to try that game. Just kind of watch him, look for weakness, see what we can do, and make it happen. But then I think he saw Peipel building that little bit of a margin and said, well, if Kanan can't pick it up here, we got to go get him. But running together, they've run Peipel down.
Yeah, look at Kanan O'Connell, got that little bit of a push. Great braking down up into the top of the corkscrew and really closed that gap to Jake Peipel there with that Honda Fit. One of those cars provided by Honda Performance Development for him. He actually has a Mazda 2 in their stable and an older Honda Fit, and went with the newer style body, and looks a little bit better, a little bit more stable, some more. But this is really the swan song, so to speak, for TCB, and it's going to be sad to see this go, Greg, as this is the action we've seen in this class since its inception.
Oh, absolutely. It has been one of the most closely fought. And and with the cars and the speeds that they run not being quite as quick as some of the others, you're able to put the cars in places other cars no way they could go there. Speaking of putting cars in a spot, look at Goulart now. That's through turn 5, trying to work the outside of Murillo. And Kenny had enough speed there, Jeff. And you don't want to be slow out of 6, because that just kills your lap. And if somebody's behind you, they're going to get you.
It does. And Murillo moving up to 3rd, getting around Goulart. And that's not what Elevon wants to see there, as he sees his teammate, which is, I think, kind of bittersweet. Elevon's dad, Adam Miller Fudimenti, the team owner at SAC Racing. Elevon, obviously, kind of the team manager, getting it all taken care of there. And to see your client there, you're kind of smiling, but then it's like, oh, but he's beating me. Wait a second, So it's one of those inter-team rivalries that they have, along with the Tech Sport Racing Chevy Sonics. But congratulations to Matt Fosnot here, sitting in 2nd right now, just continuing that. You see, wow, Elevon Goulart all over the brakes there, coming down at turn number 11.
Well, and Fosnot has just been superb this season. Had that double win weekend early in the year, got the point lead, and then has been able to just always pad it, just do enough to be able to keep that margin and build it on occasion just a little bit. And I think you're right. I think Elevon's awfully proud of Matt and what Matt's been able to do this year as a customer. But this is championship time, and Elevon, the defending season champion, he would really like to be up in front right now. And the problem, and Fosnot really clouded the curb on the inside of 3, unsettled the car, and it skated. It skated big time. Let's get down to the pits. I'd like to welcome to our broadcast team this weekend, Ryan Marine. Hey, Ryan.
Hey, thanks very much, Greg. Down here with Dan Peipel, we were getting to the bottom of why exactly Jake was starting at the back of the grid after qualifying P2. What's the story?
Yeah, one of the tires, when I said it this morning, was losing air, and took it down to Pirelli because it has to be stamped.
Yeah, a little bit of communication problem there, but I got a quick word with just kind of heard that was, I guess, one of the tires had a problem with leaking air, so they had to take the tire off, go down to Pirelli, get that tire replaced, and that's why he got to start from the back there. You have to qualify on the tires that you run on, and still problems for Kevin Anderson. We talk about what they had to go through yesterday, and he's actually out of the car trying to check it out. And that's really this team. It's a husband, wife, small crew. They got 4 cars here this weekend, and you got to get out of the car. You got to get it going. But Matthew Fosnot under pressure from Kenny Murillo. Kenny Murillo was the fastest lap that previous time, the only car in the 141s so far here this morning. He is on a charge, goes back in 6th, now up to 4th, trying to battle, or 3rd, now going for that 2nd place now on the outside.
Well, I'll tell you, he came in here with 3 straight wins, and he only started this season at Utah Motorsports campus here. Does he get it done? Oh, Fosnot got a straight line to the apex, but Murillo, enough speed. That was a beautiful move by Kenny, and there was nothing Matt could do about it, at least cleanly.
And Eric Powell resets fastest race lap previous time, a 1:41.814. I guess the radio team said, hey, look, he's coming, you better go, as he's just now our leader, Eric Powell, starting to get into the back of our TCB field.
Absolutely, and for Murillo, when he came in, they just started in Utah. He finished 3rd in his first race, set fast lap, and then has won the next 3 on the trot. So he's definitely a young guy with some serious mojo at this stage. But boy, look at Eric Powell. He is just driving away from the field. And that's sort of been the MO for that Tech Sport team with the Scions and TCA. They're either winning or they're in the pits like Kevin is here. And I talked to Kevin earlier when he told me about the Rev thing, and he said, really this season for us has been more just testing. He said, we're not in the championship hunt. We get it. He said, so we're just going to hammer these cars because that's the way you find out the weak links to get ready for a serious attack on this championship in 2018.
Yeah, absolutely. And you see Matthew Foss not talking about that championship. He's sitting back in third. He is ahead of Elevon still sitting in fourth. So he's getting his championship job done. He knows he wants to win. He wants to be on the top step of that podium, but you got to look big picture as well when you're talking about championship.
Absolutely, and he does have, as he comes in here, a decent little lead of some 12 points, but he's got Goulart now right behind him. Elevon's looking out the windshield. He can see the back of that number 74, and if he gets to him, and when there's a carrot out there, that rabbit sometimes really can pick the pace up, and he's only, 3 or 4 car lengths behind him. If he gets right there, it's going to be interesting to see, because the guy in front of you is your client, but you're both racing for a championship. How do you play that out? And look, Tom O'Gorman has put together a string of decent laps, Jeff. He's closed right in on the back here. There he is on the number 70. So all 3 championship protagonists, 3rd, 4th, and 5th, in point order.
And he was about a half second quicker than Goulart and Fastnot in front of him. The leaders were separated by 9 thousandths of a second in lap time. So no gaining and no extension there, as Goulart using every edge of the track. And he'll do that a lot at this track. You just drop a couple wheels off. You see the dust there, and it looks pretty bad.
Yep.
But it's really you're just carrying the momentum through here. It's a nice, smooth transition over the curbs. And race control will watch it.
Oh, yeah.
But you got to be mindful of it, that you still can use that area if you need it.
Well, talking about Peiple and that tire losing air, one of the things that happens at this track when you use those curbs, and you can see every time we have a fairly close-up shot that shows one of the curbs, the back edge of the curb is exposed. You drop a tire off of that, and when you come back on, that just chews on that sidewall. And it's something you've got to be mindful of. And you can see those edges are always exposed there on the back end. You can see it right there. It's not a lot, but sometimes it can be enough.
And you want to be careful when you do drop that wheel, like you said, to come back on straight as well. You see all those skid marks to the right side on the exit of turn number 5. Then you get those wheels off in the dirt, you're turning your wheel, and then it hooks and it sends you right into the wall. So it's a very high action place there on the exit of turn number 5. And Cannon O'Connell's starting to fill up the mirrors on Jake Peiple now, looking left, looking right, just trying to do whatever he can to get him off his game.
Up through 6. The iconic corner here, no question, is the corkscrew. It's just legendary. But in terms of trickiness, there's nothing to me. Few around. Is this going to be a sandwich up here? Look at the run Kanan got. Wow, did he get through 6 incredibly well? And you're climbing that hill, and it's such an angular corner, Jeff, with that sort of big compression dip right at the apex. If you don't get it right, it costs you big time. That time, Kanan nailed it.
Yeah, you do. And it's really, if you set yourself up for that corner, you don't have to brake very hard in there. It's Kanan sideways coming down through turn number 10, floating that Chevy Sonic through. But there's a big dip there on the inside of turn number 6. So if you turn in really good, you use the momentum of that car after it bangs down on the ground and then comes back up again. If you're hard on the acceleration, it'll shoot you up that hill.
It's interesting with the GT contingent here, the international GT Challenge drivers here. A lot of them have never raced here before. Look at this. Peiple going to try. Is he going to try and stuff it down the inside? I think he realized if he did that, Gronke would probably just be able to come right back and attack, as he would have killed his momentum. Now side by each here as they head into turn 3. That was nice by Kanan. He gave Jake enough room. If Jake tried to stay around the outside. Boy, look at this. This is touring car B racing. This is awesome.
Peiple has to be very mindful of PJ Gronke back there.
Yes,
PJ just needs to start hitting his marks, hitting his line. You see that he got a good run out of turn number 5. Turn number 6, this is another one of those really hard braking zones. There's 3 or 4 different lines you can take through here. PJ a little bit loose, was on the brake pedal a little too much there before he did his turn in. And you can see the gap that he closed back out on the exit, losing that time.
Well, with these front drive cars, you got to use the brake pedal to help you rotate the car, don't you? And how you modulate that can really affect things. Here's the run. Here's where Kanan got out at 6 so well. But what I was going to say, talking to some of these international drivers that had never been here, they were going on and on about the corkscrew. And I said, it's a great corner. And I said, but after your first session, I want to come and find you, and I want you to tell me what you think of turn 6. And every one of them, when I walked up, they had this wide-eyed look on their face and said, oh, now I get what you were, talking about. It's that tricky.
It is. It's a very tricky corner. It's very rewarding there. And I think my first ever race I ever did here as a kid, driving an old RX-7 that my dad had, I think near the end of the race is when I radioed in and said, hey, look, I finally got turn 6 right. And it just took that long. And I only did it one time that whole weekend. So that's how tricky that is. But Kanan O'Connell starting to stretch that lead a little bit, if you can call it a stretch. Jake Pipel, it looks like the Fit has just a little bit more straight line speed as he starts to close in, but just not enough here at Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca to open that lead up a little bit and get a little bit of a cushion.
I keep watching PJ float to the outside, and it's like he wants to diamond the corner, but with these cars being a little bit obviously underpowered, and that's all by the design, I almost wonder if sometimes he does that if he's just driving too far a line, because you're adding distance to the racetrack. Oh, did Jake get to the inside coming out of 3? He did. Now, can he make it stick? Oh, look at PJ got a run on Kanan.
Yeah, he's going to have no choice but to go the outside here for turn number 6. So it's going to come down in the braking zone as Kanan looking back to the inside. This is the last thing that I think the text part, PJ did that. He just opened the wheel up a little bit, make a nice, good, smooth arch. Oh, and you see Kanan just getting off that corner a little slow, and PJ got in the back of him. The two teammates pushing each other here. The battle for the lead over in TCB. First, second, third, right there on your frame.
And what's really cool, a driver like Kanan, when he made that little mistake and PJ got into him, it won't make Kanan mad at all. He'll say, I earned that one.
He knows what happened.
Oh, look at this. He's going to try the outside into the corkscrew.
Doing the Zanardi move, keeping it on the asphalt. And Jake
what
Pipel,
a move. Pipel way wide, Jeff. And here comes, look at this. What a run out of that. How did Jake carry that level of speed at that part of the track? That's just phenomenal stuff.
He just kept his foot in it, used up momentum. It is banked there. If you see it, you can if you can do that and make it work and stay on track. And he used every inch as you saw the dust coming up. Superb drive from that young man.
That's highlight reel stuff right there. That was superb.
Jake goes right to the inside to protect, knowing that he got off that corner bad, just in the little frame in the backside. You saw Eric Powell, our TCA leader and overall leader here, 4.4 seconds back to Kenny Murillo. He does not want to get enthralled in this battle for TCB, but he's got to protect that lead in TCA. As you see, now he's into that frame. He should get him between turn 3 and turn number 4, and that's the sort of double-edged sword here with the two different categories in TCA and TCB, because now look, Eric Powell going to the inside of Gronke, and he's going to gap between Gronke and Kanan. That's going to hurt PJ's momentum a little bit. And we'll see if he can get to the inside of Pipel here into 6, and he's not going to, as Pipel able to get a little bit of a breathing room now over Kanan O'Connell coming out of turn number 5. No problem here, as Pipel will want to protect that inside. And you see he turns his little Honda Fit right there. Maybe turn back and get a hint of a little draft on the backside of Eric Powell's car coming up the hill.
Well, and that's part of the deal, obviously. When you got faster traffic from a different class coming up behind you, one of the things you absolutely want to do is, as they come through, is use them to your advantage and try and trap the guys you're racing with behind them and really stick them.
You don't really want to hurt the other guy's race, but you're not going to hurt your own race. You'll be gentlemen enough that you can and try to see if you can not affect their race. But when push comes to shove and you got a guy on your back or a gal on your back and they're fighting for the overall lead, you're going to do what you need to do to make sure you get that overall lead. You see Kenny Murillo coming down the hill here. He's going to get held up a little bit here at Rainey coming down to turn number 10.
Yeah, and Kenny has opened up 3.5 second lead back to the Fosnot O'Gorman. And Goulart's dropped way back to 7th, Jeff.
Yeah, not sure with the handling or if he had a problem there, but it's definitely fallen off for him. He's a full 14.8 seconds back. It looks like it's 14.5 to 14.8 for Holbrook, Sexton, and Goulart. So they're nose to tail there. And wow, look at the traffic between Eric Powell and Kenny Murillo coming through our TCB leaders, how much it's opened up that lead just from those cars coming through.
Yep, Kanan did not get out of 11 well, and it was partly because he was dealing with Murillo at that stage of the track, and you can see it really cost him a little bit of distance now back to from Pipel, and it's allowed PJ to be right there. So what PJ wants, really at this stage, PJ needs to say, put his ego aside, get in behind Kanan, and just let's get back to Jake, right?
Yep. And you see Fosnot there had to hit the brakes and hold up, knowing he didn't want to affect their race and didn't want to really dive bomb them as he's going to look to the outside. But Kanan O'Connell goes to the outside, and Matt has to split both of those TCB cars. He'll do no problem here in the braking zone, clearing them. And you see Kanan O'Connell a little sideways there under braking.
Yeah, he rotated that thing big time, and if he scrubbed speed, now PJ wasn't quite close enough, and PJ could get absolutely parked here as O'Gorman comes up the inside, and you lose that momentum in a touring car, B car climbing this hill. That can not just be car lengths, it could be seconds. Well, he dealt with it beautifully.
He sure did, and I think Pipel actually didn't get out of 6 very well as you see Kanan O'Connell right back on that bumper now. So we say it all the time, the traffic can giveth and the traffic can take it away that quick.
I really was expecting to see PJ be 6, 7, 8 car lengths back. So the way he played that was absolutely perfect. We didn't exactly see O'Gorman, complete that pass in that area, but PJ read it beautifully, realized what he needed to do to not absolutely get stuck. And as a result, he is still very much in that touring car B hunt. But there's O'Gorman, there's Fosheim. That's the margin right now between the leader in the points and third in the points, and Goulart is well back. I'll tell you, the 89 is Jeff Sexton is having a superb run, isn't he?
Oh, and Jake Pipel there. I wasn't sure if he knew Sexton was going to the inside there. You see Shea Holbrook going to the outside of all these cars and should be clear of, it's going to hold up Pipel just a little bit there, and he doesn't want to give up anything, but Kanan O'Connell looking to the inside kind of made that a little wide there. There's that move. I saw that happen in there. You saw him go wide, and Kanan was shortening up that corner a little bit, working the momentum, but yeah, there's Goulart way back now.
Goulart now inside of PJ Gronke. PJ turns in behind him, as you said, hoping to get just a glint even of a toe at this stage. And this could help PJ, because if Goulart gets up and he dives to the inside here, he's got O'Connell. Is he going to try and park Pipel? Oh, Jake saw him coming. But I think that hurt Pipel's exit speed just a little bit, Jeff.
Yeah, we'll see if he can recover here in turn number 6. So when that happens, you might go a little deeper in 6 to try to get more momentum up that hill, kind of recover for what you lost back there in turn number 5. But he did a great job recovering from that. It's still about a car length, maybe 2, back to there, as you see the 2 teammates now teaming up, pushing them on in here to the corkscrew.
I just saw Goulart's taillights flashing well before he got to the... I wonder if he's having some sort of brake-related issue that's causing him to drop back like that.
Hello?
I think you saw him kind of working his brake pedal there to not really lose any momentum either. Just left foot brake a little bit in these front wheel drive, low horsepower cars, because he wasn't enough speed to make a move, but you don't want to have to hit the brakes and not clobber your teammate either if you have a good run with limited passing zone. But I do not want to call who's going to win here. Whoa, Kanan O'Connell dropping a wheel off on the outside. A little touch there as he comes through turn number 11, just let you know I'm here.
Wow, I mean, he wanted to rotate that car to get a run, but I don't think he really expected he was going to drop it. Killed his momentum, and around the outside goes PJ Gronke. Then that was that touch.
That little touch. He had to hold up a little bit, and it just worked that momentum that much. He lost it down here, and you'll see if he can catch up back up in the brake zone.
Look at this. O'Gorman has gone by Fosnot. I wonder, Fosnot knows he's got a pretty sizable margin of, some 26 points when this race started. Back to Tomo, as he's called. Whoa! I think he's got an ice racing setup on that car right there.
Yeah, way to the wide there, drops the wheel off, and see he's going to try to protect that inside, and I'm not sure. Does he have a problem?
The way he was
dancing,
he sure was.
There. Looks like, I'm trying to look at the rear to see if it's. Looks like it's not. Yeah, it's not tracking.
Something's not right.
I believe he's got a bad toe link, or looks like the right rear has got a lot of toe out on it, and not sure if he's going to be able to manhandle that for the next 16 minutes. But yeah, that right rear is not right. Something just fallen off, or came loose, or broke on the right rear of that Civic, and. Unfortunately, this is one of the few racetracks here in North America that's ran counterclockwise. Most of them are run clockwise. We go to a lot of the tracks that we go, but you can really see that right rear. You can see how much variation it has. And talk about a drive there. Tom O'Gorman doing a superb job with the ill handling of that car to be able to keep it even straight on the go down the straightaway.
Well, you can see even on the straights, he's leaving little black marks because that tire's scrubbing so bad. But yeah, look at that. You get that tolling problem, and that car's working incredibly well into the left-handers.
It does great when he turns left. Can't turn right.
Now the rights are going to be the issue here. Absolutely. See how he handles that. Look how delicate he's got. Look at that. Just leaving that tire, a little bit of a tire mark all the way through. Wow. And yet he's carrying that kind of speed, Jeff. This is an impressive drive by Tomo.
Well, front-wheel drive, too, most of the time the rear is just along for the ride.
Yep.
You don't focus too much on that. I've never really had the gumption to weld a solid shaft where the shot goes and not run any suspension back there at all, but you will run as stiff as you can in the rear. You'll make a lot of toe out in the rear of these front-wheel drive cars to get the cars to turn, so you'll try a lot of different setups. And like you said, it really turns good to the left. May not turn right very well, but thank God most of these courses on this course is to the left.
And this is a good battle, too. The 67 of Holbrook, who we saw lead for a little bit in that Bubba Burger Lucas Oil Honda Civic, in a great battle now with Jeff Sexton in the 89. And those two have gone back and forth a few times as well here in this battle. Just some great racing unfolding right now. That Winding Road team Mazda Global MX-5 Cup car. By the way, I just wanted to let people know, Tomo, that's the 2017 Honda Racing HPD, sort of a development race car. He's got great support from Grid Life and Carbotech, and that car is going to be displayed at SEMA this year. So anybody that might be going to SEMA I'd suggest you go over there and have a look at it, and also have a visit with Tomo. He's quite the character.
Yeah, 14 minutes to go here, and you can see that black line that he's dragging that right rear. We'll see if he can make it last. But Shea Holbrook switching over to the TCA category mid-year, ran the Accord at the beginning of the year, worked this program moving back down to TCA, and it's really kind of become a step up for her after the reliability and problems of developing that new Accord platform. You come into this support that HPD has put behind this Honda Civic Si program now. With any person, you're watching the live stream right now, go out and you can buy a body in white shell with a roll cage in it. You can buy all the pieces and make it work. But wow, just seeing Tom O'Gorman all over the place. He is working that car.
Well, I just got an update. The reason that he started at the back, after qualifying, he was slightly underweight, and he said, the team said, miscalculation on our part, our mistake.
Yeah, 12 pounds underweight.
Yeah, so that's been the issue. And by the way, his car chief, Andy Hollis, and his grandpa, today's their birthday. So that's kind of nice. He said his grandpa tallies the points as the race is going on and calls him after every race and tells him where he is in the championship. So grandpa is into this race. And happy birthday to both grandpa and Andy Hollis and the car chief. And again, Shea Holbrook and Jeff Sexton, good scrap here. Again, it was at fifth.
Yeah, Shea got around Sexton. He was on a charge and sort of kind of got balked a little bit. There's Eric Powell, your TCA leader once again. He just lapped about 0.3 of a second quicker than Kenny Morello in second place. O'Gorman in that third place. It looks like he's solidly in third now. But a superb drive here for Eric Powell. Just continues to be the fastest man here in TCA. Looking at Goulart Parsons, we haven't mentioned too. Cameron Parsons from D Sport Magazine, and a loaner car from Mazda here at Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca. Getting that car built and what it takes to come run a Pirelli World Challenge race. So make sure you subscribe to D Sport Magazine or follow them along at dsport.com and see the whole progression of getting that car ready and this Mazda MX-5 Global Cup car platform to come run a Pirelli World Challenge race. And, obviously here at Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of a cool deal what Parsons is doing, isn't it? With the, what he does, writing stories for D Sport Mag, covering the cars and running a variety of different things. And, now here and really doing, I think, a nice job.
Well, things change as quick as they stay the same in TCB.
Wow,
as PJ Gronke now leading the two, Jake Peipel and Kanan O'Connell, and PJ getting his first win in Pirelli World Challenge competition here this year. And I jokingly was mentioning it to him when we had the podium celebration when he won his first round. And I actually said after decades and decades of competition, PJ Gronke finally gets that breakout win. And just a superb job from that young man. Really just loves racing, loves to come out and run. Does this, has literally 30 to 40 people supporting him and sponsoring him. You see every sticker on the side of that car helping him and going for that championship in TCB.
Yeah, he does it. He does it by a few dollars at a time from a lot of people. that really step up and help him, and he is just and he missed the championship last year, Jeff, by a whisker. I mean, it was so close to winning a championship, but for him getting that first win, thought he had one actually at home at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park, as he led when the red flag came out, but the rules say it reverts to the previous lap. And so he ended up not getting what he thought was the win there. So for him to finally get it was absolutely fantastic. There's the number 70 of Goulart. Checked in, Ryan did, with the crew, and they said they haven't heard anything from him on the radio. They're not sure why he's not quite on pace, because he certainly was in those first couple of laps.
I think to see Goulart and Fosnot both sort of fall back a little bit.
Yeah.
Fosnot obviously not as bad as Goulart. Same team, possibly same setups on these cars, thinking the conditions were going to be something else, and just missed a little bit. With the limited settings you are allowed in the TCA category, it really makes it that much more important to get it right, because if you're off just that little bit, you can't adjust something else to make up for that time that you lose.
Boy, he's just kind of running a lonely 7th right now, isn't he? There's your leader, Powell, in that Tech Sports Scion FRS that has just continued that margin about 8 seconds. He got there, and he's sort of managed it right about in that window. Murillo has opened up over O'Gorman, and I think with O'Gorman's issues with the car, that's certainly allowed a little bit of a pad for Murillo. But I'm just absolutely gobsmacked at the drive that O'Gorman's putting in with a car that clearly isn't right. But like I said, he's just gone into ice racing mode, where the back end is, you just use the front and pull it around, and the back end's there just kind of for sponsor decals.
Yeah, it's for show. Yeah, it's for show. Yeah, it's like, it looks good in the camera for when people are behind you to see all the sponsors on the trunk. But Kenny Morello, that time by was the previous lap. Eric Powell was 2 seconds slower than Kenny Morello, and this time by Morello was 2 seconds slower than Powell. So I think traffic is a major part of that, as it was a 1:43.7 for Powell and a 1:45.3 for Morello. Yep. And you can see PJ Gronke, you heard that little screech of that right front Pirelli P0 tire as he's chattering the right front there, trying to get all he can. He's got I think the biggest gap we've seen so far in the lead in our TCB. So PJ Gronke, this is what he has to do for the championship. He says, if I just win both races, the championship's mine. It doesn't matter what they do. So it's and for all three of these, that's what happens. Whoever they're so close in time. Kanan O'Connell and PJ Gronke are only 2 points behind Pipel, tied for second. Kanan would obviously get that tiebreaker based on more wins, and Jake Pipel in second now. So right now, going into the next race, if they run as they finish with 7.5 minutes to go, PJ would be the new points leader.
Well, it's interesting here. I mean, PJ, this margin you talked about, one of the biggest we've seen, it was done not through being held up as faster cars come through. This wasn't traffic induced. This was, he got to the lead, but then he's just driven away a little bit.
You see Cameron Parsons there in the number 88 Mazda. Right behind him, starting to get through our leaders in TCB.
This will be interesting because Parsons, and you can see right there, Kanan feigning to the right going, don't you even think about it. I'm in a championship battle, and please don't affect it. And you just saw Kanan point him by.
Yeah, he wants to have him point him by early to see if he could get on the inside of Pipel and hold Pipel up. He did not do that, but I mean, Kanan O'Connell, obviously you're going to be learning from the best, watching it for those 23 years of your life so far that you've seen Dad Johnny do, and learn that racecraft from him.
That's going to be interesting because now Parsons is going to be up to the corkscrew and certainly has the legs here. Pipel just stayed left a little bit longer. You can see those blue flags are flying. And this allowed PJ to get cleanly into the corkscrew, not get to have Parsons dive bomb him here. And PJ just needs to look at that. Nice job by Parsons, realizing this is a championship. I don't want to mess this up. I want to get through him, but I don't want to park anybody necessarily. And he's just trying to do it, time it so that he gets through clean, doesn't mess anybody up. Look at that. PJ's going, no, sir.
Yep, nope, you will not go to the inside of me right now. There's a big straightaway coming along, and you can get by me there. And that's exactly what he did. Is here the battle with Fosnot and Sexton now. Let's see, Sexton. Fosnot's fallen off from the back of O'Gorman now, and it's not that O'Gorman's going faster. Fosnot just slowing up a little bit. Sexton, once he got around Holbrook and pulled away, now he's battling for that fourth place. And Jeff Sexton's had just a trying year here. It had an incident huge at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park and took him out, rode a car off. and this is a new chassis now with that Winding Road Tim Barber Racing team. And great support from Winding Road Racing here in our touring car category as well. So, wow, Fosnot, big tank slapper as he drops by there. Jeff Sexton will be trying everything he can to take advantage of that and that momentum loss that Fosnot happens. And, you know, if you can recover right away, it's going to be good, but that can sometimes mess you up for a corner or two.
Well, yeah, I mean, one, you dirty up your tires, so that's part of the issue. But, yeah, I mean, that car, Fosnot, just does not look happy. And I'll tell you, O'Gorman's car up front, look at this. Oh, that's tough. O'Gorman's car up front, I want that huge tribute to the probably P0 slicks on O'Gorman's car for him to have that tire like it is and still be able to show the speed he is.
Oh, yeah, he's dragging it across the track.
Look at that. That thing is.
You can see the little black. There's a black mark everywhere. Even on the straightaway, you can see it just dragging that tire to see. Thank God for the power of that Honda Civic Si, because I don't think it would pull that tire along.
Look at that thing squirming. He's got 5.5 more minutes for Tomo. And if Sexton gets around Fosnot, that's another, couple of point swing. Suddenly O'Gorman, might be a lot closer to what?
I giggle. You see O'Gorman going into the corner. He's on the brakes. So the corner's to the left. The car's shooting right. I can't wait to watch the CBS Sports Net coverage of this car and watch the onboard cameras from O'Gorman doing this race, because it is going to be exciting to see him working that steering wheel here.
You're talking arms and elbows, because we're going to see a lot. He's flailing inside that car right now, but doing a stunning job. I mean, I think right now that there's no question that's the drive of the race. Look at that thing.
Just all over the place there. Managing that good. And you do the Grid Life events, that they're just a lifestyle event. They have drifting, car shows, all kinds of stuff going on. So I think Tom O'Gorman used to watching those drift guys out there at Grid Life doing some stuff and thinking, I can do this too in my Civic. But
look at
Jeff
this.
Sexton and Fosnot just battling here for that fourth place.
Now, Fosnot understands the scenario in terms of points here. And Sexton said, well, he tried to pinch me the last time. I'm going to try and swing on. He got it a little too hot there, Jeff.
Yeah, but he'll use the momentum there. He can really try to get back on the gas and see if he can make a move to the inside of turn number 3. And he's trying, but he didn't quite have enough speed there. If he narrows that up just a little bit, he might be able to do that next time. And he's learning from that. He's watching, I lost it here, but let me see what I can do. Looking at the lap times, O'Gorman at a 44.6. The guys behind him a 44.5 and a 44.4. So he's not losing too much this.
Yeah, I think you're right. Had Sexton got 3 feet shallower in that and got that turned around, it just got a little bit too deep. So he's got 2.5 down, 2:50, 2 minutes 50 seconds here to be able to do it. And again, for Fosnot, points leader, and he is behind the guy who's third in points, well ahead of the guy who's second in points. So how hard do you fight this? Because if he tries to shut the door, if Sexton comes through and they touch and he ends up buried, suddenly that's a huge point swing, and that's always in the back of your mind when you're going after a championship, isn't it?
It sure is. You always are thinking points. I don't want to have something where he takes me out. I have 2 positions over my teammate right now, and I know Justin Pistatel, one of the all-time greats behind one of these MX-5 platforms here, is a coach for Fosnot, done a lot this year, and I know that he's on the radio too saying, look, think big picture here. You're 2 positions up. You want all the points you can get, but if you have to give that up and push comes to shove, as he did. He drops off a couple wheels there, and you saw the momentum he lost. Jeff Sexton goes right by.
Yeah, that car for Fosnot is just not where he wants it right now. You can see it's not happy. He's fighting it every way. And when Sexton got the run, smart move by Fosnot. And I think you're right. I think Justin was on the radio going, let him go, let him go, let him go. You're going to be okay. You got another race yet coming up, and just fed him through. And you're right about Justin. I mean, I called him super sub. We're in the Grand Am Cup in the ST category a couple of times. He ended up, I think he got asked to drive cars as a replacement driver and put together 4 straight poles. The guy, Justin, the fact he doesn't have a full-time ride somewhere well up the ladder still really baffles me a little bit. But he certainly is a great coach, and I guess there's that to be had.
The next thing now is we'll have to see if Jeff Sexton can run down O'Gorman, though, because last lap he was, even with the traffic with Fosnot, he was a half a second quicker than O'Gorman, as O'Gorman's fighting the battles there. PJ Gronke, you're right, talk about pulling that lead over there, and he sees Eric Powell, his teammate, in that Tech Sport Racing stable. Eric doesn't want to affect him at all, but Eric's about a 7.5 second lead over Kenny Morello.
White flag, I would think, here.
Kanan O'Connell got around Pipel here, so it's the Tech Sport teammates 1-2 now with 1 lap to go. White flag this time by.
There it is, and yeah, exactly. PJ's done a brilliant job of opening that lead up just a little bit, managing it. And once you get far enough away, I mean, these cars are so draft dependent. If you can get far enough where the guys behind you aren't really benefiting, and you can really hit your marks and drive a quick lap, you can break that draft a little bit. And PJ's done a brilliant job. But up front, Powell. Just a tremendous run there in the Scion. And there is PJ with Kanan, as you said, slipping around Pipel on that last lap.
Pipel's not going to give that up. This is going to the inside down here in turn number 5. Kanan will give him some room, try to maybe arc that a little bit, not lose any momentum, try to get him back in turn number 5. Kenny Morello here is going to go to the inside of Pipel. Down in 6, maybe try to clear him quickly. I like what Pipel did there. He hit the brakes a little bit early so he can go back to the inside and protect that line over Kanan O'Connell.
Yeah, and that's exactly. That's one of those dip the brake early so you can pick the throttle up sooner and just accelerate hard up the hill, not let O'Connell get a run. And of course, every time we see Pipel and O'Connell side by side heading into a turn, that's just slowing them up that little bit, and that's letting PJ get away. PJ there, just the same deal, just breathed it, let Murillo through cleanly. This is going to be it, coming to the checker flag. Powell already down through, there he is, exit of turn 10, heading into the final corner here of the second to the last round of the 2017 Pirelli World Challenge Touring Car A and Touring Car B Championship. And Powell, Tech Sport and Scion get the win at Mazda Raceway, Laguna, Seca, all part of the Pirelli World Challenge Grand Prix of Monterey. And here comes that Touring Car A battle, and PJ Gronke got that first win, but this was a brilliant drive by the Canadian.
Absolutely, great job there, and Pipel gets around Kanan O'Connell to extend his lead over that, and you see O'Gorman here looking for that 3rd place. It looks like he got it. Sexton in 4th. Fosnot and Holbrook.
He is going to be one tired lad when he gets up on the podium after fighting this car. But I think drive of the race, absolutely brilliant performance by the guy we love to call Tomo. And tell you, just absolutely superb. And he'll fill out that podium. But what a story. The other stories, Fosnot, points leader, back in 5th. 2nd in the points, Goulart 7th. And with O'Gorman 3rd, talk about compressing this points battle up a little bit.
Maybe they do this again at 2 o'clock today, so you don't have a lot of time to go kind of recover there. As Tom O'Gorman's going to be desperate to get some parts and some pieces on the back of that Civic. We'll see if he can recover a little bit better. You look at the fastest race laps by best lap. It looks like it's going to be, I think best lap. Will go to Eric Powell again, and it'll be Kenny Morello starting in 2nd, and O'Gorman will start 3rd. Yep. So O'Gorman's going to have a better starting position this time, and if he gets that handling set up, he'll be one to reckon with here at the end of this race. And championship.
Obviously O'Gorman won't, but with the run he just put on, I can see him pulling into the pits. He's going, okay, we'll get on fixing that. No, don't touch it.
It's great. Yeah, I can handle it. It's fast. Loose is fast, but superb drive. When I mentioned that 7-hour round trip yesterday to get a part for Kevin Anderson's car, that was Eric Powell who did it at 3:30 in the afternoon.
Wow.
San Francisco traffic, driving all the way to North Sacramento, and then to have to come in here and get in this car and get the win today. Great job.
So you're saying he earned it?
He definitely earned it. Driving in Bay Area traffic yesterday. No traffic here for him today. Congratulations to Eric Powell getting that win.
Yeah, just a great story, and once again, seeing the performance potential of this car, and really looking forward to seeing them after they, as Kevin has said, this has really been our development year. We're just testing in public and pushing these things as hard as we can to find that weak link and make sure that we're ready to have a car that can go after a championship next year. Doesn't look like they need to do a whole lot more. That thing is working.
Yeah, it's just only as the reliability. The setups on it is great. The power is great. And you got a shoe like Eric Powell behind the wheel there. But how about a Tech Sport Racing first place in both categories, TCA, TCB, for that team. And congratulations to Kevin Anderson and his wife there. You see Greg Gill down there congratulating PJ. Just the whole people here that make it around. They got Dean Case from Mazda down there. I mean, this is touring car racing. This is how close it gets. And boy, PJ's excited there, man. Congratulations for him.
Yeah, he is quite the guy. Look at that. Yeah,
One
buddy.
of the nicest guys too, man. He
Throwing
really
the gloves.
Yeah.
Throwing the gloves. We talked about that. He's a Canadian. He's a hockey fan. And he said, I was joking, and I said, time for you to throw the gloves, man. And he went, I'm gonna. That was so cool, PJ. Fantastic. He said, if I'm on a podium, I'm throwing my gloves. Yeah. That's a hockey player who just won the game. And again, it's all part of a championship, but there's a look at a guy who just put together a superb run. Just set off early, got to the front, from the pole, and set fast lap of the race, and was never topped. And it looks like Ryan Marine is ready to go with our overall and touring car A winner. What a drive, Ryan.
You're exactly right. What a drive indeed, Eric Powell. Big celebration, climbing up on top of the race car. Welcome to Victory Lane at Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca.
Thank you. Yeah, it's sort of a familiar spot. I was here last year, so that's good. But huge thanks to Tech Sport Racing. Just giving me a great car. These guys have just been, working tirelessly. Kevin, Debbie, the team owners, are just instrumental and just busting their butts all the time to make sure we're out here and have the best cars on the grid like we proved today. So super awesome, especially since we've sort of had the dominant car the past couple races and just haven't been able to close the deal. So it feels really good. And to have PJ, my teammate, get the win in a really tight championship battle right now is even better, actually. So.
Still one more race to go this afternoon. Your car looked awfully strong in the race here this morning. Do you make any changes to accommodate the weather, or is this thing strong enough to win as is?
Absolutely not. We've got this thing developed into, honestly, the most amazing car right now. It's the best handling non-aero car that I've ever driven. It's just perfectly balanced, keeps the tires under it really well. I know all those other guys are going to put stickers on for race 2. We don't have that luxury, so hopefully it's enough to keep it up front.
Congratulations. Good luck this afternoon.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, I wouldn't touch it. That's for sure. That thing was working, and even it's going to be a little hotter, a little greasier maybe this afternoon, but when they run again. But that car was clicking.
Well, you talk about the pole winners and Eric Powell starting from pole, but that's how small that team is.
Yeah.
They don't have the luxury of buying another set of Pirelli P0 tires to put on that car. It's that tight with budgets and money and team and staff.
It's heart. It's all heart, obviously. All right, it is ready. He threw the gloves down. He's fighting this weekend. Ryan, with PJ.
And standing by with PJ Grunke. Yesterday, you told me you would see me here on pit lane, and man, you did it. Congratulations. What a drive.
Yeah, thank you so much. That was honestly really stressful. I was out there kind of sitting back, watching Jake and Kanan, seeing what they were doing, just kind of conserving my tires. My car actually gets a little bit better near the end. And I can't thank the Tech Sport guys for giving me such a good car. Can't thank Varex.ca, Tundra, Cabanos, and Prestone. These are all the people that got me here. And to reward them with their second win, and I think it's a 3-way tie or 2-way tie with me and Jake for the championship lead right now. Man, this is the best season I've ever had, and I can't say enough.
You said it would be no-holds-barred racing when you got out here today. Is that the attitude that paid off for you?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I was basically just sitting back waiting for them to make a mistake because I saw them kind of battle. I've been around for a while. I've been in TCB since 2013 with World Challenge, and it's the best series you could ever race in. And to have a win here at the iconic Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca, I'm at a loss for words.
Congratulations. We'll see you this afternoon.
You got it. Thank you very much.
I'll tell you, it's seriously, this guy does that with, like you said, like 30 sponsors and the like, and to have him come through and get his second win of the season and be right in the championship lead, tied for it when we come back for the second race today. That's awesome stuff. We're going to pause real quick because in just a few seconds almost, touring cars will be out for their first race of this doubleheader season finale weekend at the Grand Prix of Monterey.